Everyone, thank you so much for being on time. Today we're going to do part 3 of a 3-part series where we were focusing on open houses. This time around, we're going to be doing the Facebook marketing behind it. And I invited a special guest. So if you guys ever wonder who's the guy that Danny goes to for help with Facebook ads, his name is Andrew Foliato, and we're looking at his landing page right now. They are a full service marketing team that help real estate agents with generating buyer leads and seller leads through the use of social media. And basically, they just want you to sell homes. So they literally called themselves Just Sell Homes so that you can focus on the one thing you should be doing, where they can focus on the one thing they should be doing, which is the marketing behind it. So today we're going to lift up the hood of the car and look underneath and see exactly step by step how an agent would set up ads on their own. And we don't mind showing you guys how to do things on your own when we offer it as a service, because we know at the end of the day, there's always going to be a certain percentage of people that are like, hey, that's great, but can you just do it for me? So if you do want somebody to do your Facebook marketing for you, then go to justsellhomes.com and connect with Andrew, and they'll definitely do a coaching call with you and get the ball rolling. So Andrew, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me, Danny.
Cool. Did you like that intro? I made it up.
Yeah, it's almost like you've heard me do an intro before and you were remembering what I've said.
So let's flip right on into Facebook, and we'll do a Facebook ad. So there's going to be a couple examples. Let's say I'll do a couple hypotheticals and you can choose. Let's say an agent has a listing and they're going to do an open house. They want to do an ad. Now, I'm assuming there's two ways that you might want to consider them doing. One would be an engagement ad, or one would be a lead gen ad. So we can talk about the two of those. And then also there's a lot of Americans on the call, and they used to have way more filtering criteria that we could say only people in this zip code who are this age that make this amount of money. Now we can't do any of that. So we're going to address that as well, hopefully.
So just off the start, that stuff was overrated anyways, and our results haven't really changed with the new targeting.
Cool. Okay. So yeah. So if you were to pick one way of doing an open house ad, which version would it be? Traffic, engagement, lead gen?
It depends on the agent. So basically, like, we look at it two ways. Well, it's oversimplification, but we'll do that. One is you just want leads to follow up with. With that, obviously, you go lead gen. It's pretty straightforward.
Can you point to it so people see it on the screen?
Right here. Okay. There's pros and cons of this. Mm-hmm. The cons being Facebook doesn't notify you when you get a lead, so you got to go through like a Zapier leads bridge, or depending on your CRM, you have to use a tool to actually get those leads for you. The other downside is basically what it is.
I want to interrupt on that. There's a past webinar we recorded for all of our members that shows step-by-step how to set up Zapier to notify you of your Facebook leads.
Well, that works out.
Yep.
Perfect. So follow Dan's past webinars if you didn't see that one yet. So basically, because they just sit on the back end, you got to pull them in.
Yeah.
The main downside that we find with lead gen ads, and this really just, again, depends on the agent and your conversion skills, is what happens is when they click on your ad, a form pops up on Facebook pre-filled in with their contact info, and they just hit submit. It's kind of like Apple's terms and conditions. A lot of people do it without actually knowing what it is.
Right. I didn't fill it in. I don't even know who you are. Why are you calling me?
Yeah. So depending on how you are at objection handling, that can be pretty rough to deal with, whereas some agents just move right past it. So like we've had that before, like agents who do really well will normally just do something like, hey, I never opted in. I have no idea what you're talking about. Oh, okay, that's no problem. Well, are you thinking of making a move? Right? Like you just kind of brush right past that as an objection and go right into your regular, chat about their real estate situation.
Right.
So we kind of joke that lead gen ads, they're better than cold calling, but worse than like a sign call. It's kind of like where you're looking at. But if you can work them, they can work really, really well. From the other side of it, you're looking more like an engagement, because that could be like you just want to get as many people to see it as possible, and you want them to like, comment, and share on it. And then with an open house specifically, like sometimes what we'll do is we're really trying to target just like, hey, we just want as many people to see that there's an open house as possible. So sometimes we won't even go engagement. That's like one of the only times we'll do a reach campaign, because basically what a reach campaign is it doesn't optimize it for like people who would become a lead or people who would go to your website. It just says show this ad to as many people as possible. And that's with an open house. Sometimes all you want, you just want as many people as possible to see it. So that's sometimes what we'll do for that. If we want people to engage or like watch a video we do, then obviously we'll pick like video views or engagement. But you really got to look at what your goal is. I mean, some people, they want that forced register where you get their name, email, and phone number so you can follow up with them. Other people just want to get a big number of people who have seen it so they can show the seller. In that case, you take reach. Some people just want people to be liking and commenting on it so they can, respond to them that way.
For this general example, we'll do reach because normally with a lead gen option, there'd be a call to action. I mean, with an open house, the only real call to action is to show up to the open house and or get an additional list of all the open houses in the area. So you could leverage it that way. But I'd say generally speaking, most people are going to get more out of the reach and engagement.
Yeah. Yep. And then come here, I just give it a name. So I do like, 1, 2. I really want to buy something on 1, 2, 3 Main Street so I can own this. But the most advertised property out there. I don't worry about creating split tests here. Campaign budget optimization. Have you ever gone over that? Do you want me to?
No, go for it.
Okay, so you can see here on the left side, campaign, ad set, ad. So this is like what the campaign is. So in this case, an open house ad. Ad set is who you're targeting with it. And you can set up multiple ad sets in one campaign. So you could have a campaign that's targeting, okay, everybody in the area. The next one could go to everyone who's been to your website. The next one could be everyone in your contact list. And previously, you had to say, okay, everyone in the area, I'm going to spend $10 a day trying to get to them. Everyone who's been to my website, I'm going to spend $4 a day getting to them. And everyone who is in my contact list, I'm going to spend another $4 a day to get to them. Whereas what a campaign budget optimization is, you take it, you say $15 a day, and then Facebook will actually optimize and spread that budget out across those 3 audiences. However, like they're getting the best results. So if like one version's getting better results, they'll move more of the budget over there, and they'll dynamically change the budget across the ad sets. So if you're only going to have one audience you're running an ad to, you don't have to worry about it. But if you want to add multiple audiences, this is where it can get really effective, is like, especially with retargeting, because like retargeting for most agents, the audience they have is so small that before it wasn't worth because it used to be the minimum budget was $5 a day too, which is also now lower.
What is it now?
Now it's like $1. So it changes based on the objective.
And what's the minimum audience size for that? Because it used to be a lot above what most agents actually had.
So like basically they'll just, they don't tell you the exact number. Some campaigns, they won't let you when it's under 1,000. Some it's like 100. To be honest, we just set up as many. With what we'll do for a lot of them now is turn on campaign budget optimization, throw as many audiences as we can in there, all leading to the same ad. And then just let Facebook figure out where it goes from there. Nice. But again, like, don't worry about that too much, like until you've started running.
Yeah, most people, the easy answer is leave it turned off and just roll, because you're going to have the one ad. This having campaign budget optimized is more if like, you've got the pixel retargeting, you've got the database list built, and you've got a couple other things you can leverage.
It's a great tool when you're comfortable and a little bit more advanced than most. But at a beginner level, I don't know what level we're talking about with people on average here. I wouldn't worry about it. By the way, if anyone has questions, throw them in the chat. I'm happy to answer anything you guys have.
Yeah, please.
I'm here for an hour at least. So
an hour.
Ask away. Yeah, cool. Yep. All right. So next up, so obviously you got to choose the page. I'm just going to choose mine. Wait, did it not ask me for special housing? If there's a special category ad? It's not there. It was when sometimes they, normally they ask, but that's okay. I can talk about it anyways. So it doesn't really matter, to be honest. So we'll just do an ad let's do Las Vegas, because I was just reading an article about Las Vegas.
While you're doing that, what he's talking about is there's a checkbox above the map, and it basically asks you, is this ad about housing? And you're going to choose yes. And then as soon as you do that, it's going to limit all of the filtering that we can leverage.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll talk about like when we get to the right parts about that anyways.
Yep.
But say you choose your area, like, okay, let's say the open house is in Vegas. And if special categories turned on, the smallest you can do is a 15-mile radius. So that would be where you're targeting the open house ad to. And then they'll make it force you to do everyone over 18. And basically you can't edit any of this stuff.
It's crazy. That part really sucks. I liked
the age one was one that we don't like.
Yeah.
Other than that, it hasn't impacted anything for us.
Right. I like the 30 plus or 25.
Yeah.
Plus.
Well, that also depends on the area, right? Like if I'm in an area, the average house point of 200 grand, you can go to 25 or something like that.
Yeah.
So it does matter the area and the average price point a bit. But so the reason that we actually haven't noticed a big difference. So I will caveat this by saying, like, if you're in New York City, like Manhattan, where there's so many people plugged into a 15-mile radius, then that's where you'll see a little bit different results. If you're in like a big city, but like even a Vegas, for example, because we've run ads here, 15 miles, 1.8 million people is actually not that big of a deal, and it hasn't impacted the results from the change before to the change after.
You leave it as everyone in location, or do you change it to everyone who lives in location?
It changes. For a listing ad, we'll normally go everyone in because people could, like, they might not live there. Like if you say hypothetically you worked in Vegas, but you live out here. Well, you wouldn't see the ad for buying. Maybe you do want to move into the city. So we would normally actually leave it for that because you never know. Now, if we're targeting sellers, it's a little bit different. Then we would go into people who live here. But when it's a listing, we usually leave it as everyone.
Can you just point to the drop down so they see what we're talking about? Yeah. Right there's a drop down where you can choose people who are.
Also depends where you are because audience size, like if you're in an area that's 100,000 people or less, don't change it. Just leave it.
Yeah.
I mean, once you start getting into big cities where you're 500,000, 1 million, 2 million plus, then you might want to start looking at those refinements. But I wouldn't worry about it too much.
And I also kind of feel like major touristy places.
Yeah, or if you have like a major airport, like if you're in Mississauga, you got the airport right in there.
Yeah.
Like Vegas, there's a lot of tourists, but then a lot of people buy second homes in Vegas, so you also got to consider that, right?
True.
So again, that also depends on your budget. Like if you have a $20 budget, then you want to refine it as much as possible. Because a $20 budget for 1.8 million people, it's not going to work. If you have a $200 budget, it goes a little bit further.
When you say budget, are you saying per day?
No, not necessarily.
Those number.
So the rough rule of thumb we use is $10 a day per 100,000 people.
That's a good rule. Simple.
Yeah, like it's not a perfect rule for everything, but as a general guideline, it works pretty well. But that's what we like to do. So the reason that we haven't, and again, this is my theory of why it hasn't affected us that much. So just because we're not picking, like a lot of people pick targeting on Facebook and they're actually hurting themselves every time they do. I mean, if you notice down here, which isn't here right now, if I just add in a couple things here, all right, we'll just throw in a couple, yada, yada, yada. So sometimes and it's not, it might be because I picked reach. Anyways, sometimes you'll see like a checkbox here that's like, give Facebook, do we have permission to expand your targeting if we think we can get better results, which basically just is their way of saying, hey, like, yeah, you can put in detailed targeting, but we know it better than you. Just leave it blank and let us do it. Facebook has so much data about people and they know what people are going to do that you don't really need to take that much on detailed targeting because they know the people who are likely to engage with your ad already. Like when people ask us what we do for targeting, like I joke that it's our open, dirty little secret, is that we almost do no targeting and we let Facebook do it because Facebook has the data. Facebook knows who's likely to engage, and Facebook's like goal is to get you the best result possible, because if they get you the best result possible, you'll spend more money with them. So the more we run Facebook ads, the less we actually touch in here.
What about exclusions? Do you ever go on exclusions?
Yes. Now with the new rules, if you're advertising a listing, you can't put exclusions.
Right.
If you're in an area where you can, or it's a non-listing based ad and you could put exclusions in, generally we exclude agents because they opt in like crazy. Like we had one campaign in Calgary and 30% of the leads were just other agents in the market. So that one we...
What would you say are like the top 4 ways to exclude an agent? What do you type?
So we look at... So the easiest way to look at it is just go like, what would an agent be into that nobody else is? So like in the news, Tom Ferry, Mike
Brian
Ferry,
Buffini.
Yeah, like those are all things that only an agent would care about. You just want to be careful that it's not something that overlaps with another group. So like an easy one would be DocuSign. Even though that's a very real estate heavy tool that people use, a lot of non-real estate people use it. So if you excluded it, it wouldn't work. But whereas Dotloop is industry specific, so you could use Dotloop as an exclusion.
I find when we use Tom Ferry as an exclusion or an inclusion, depending how I'm leveraging it, the numbers are way out of whack. Like
yeah, so that is one where he's started to tip into the mainstream. So he's getting to the point where it's not necessarily worth it. So we actually then refine the targeting. Yeah. So what we might do sometimes is we'll put Tom Ferry as an example and then further narrow it. So this is if we're targeting agents, for example, we'll put further narrow by business page admins. And so now it's anyone who likes Tom Ferry, who's the admin of a business page, which probably means you're an agent. Like now we're down to 1,400 people. And if we did say like the entire country, 94,000 people, that's not crazy.
Oh, dude, that is such an awesome way of targeting agents, by the way. People who like Tom Ferry, who are business page admin. Oh my God.
I just changed your life, man.
Make some notes, buddy, because we're going to leverage that one.
Dude. This is why we get hired by a lot of people targeting agents now. Like that's why we had to change our website from just to like the real estate industry's marketing partner, because half our clients now are people targeting agents.
Yeah. Oh.
I guess I just announced it publicly, but whatever.
I got something we're going to talk about for an hour after when we hang up. I got an idea for you. I'm going to do something special and you're going to dig it. And it revolves around this. Awesome. Okay, cool. So that was detailed targeting. You actually were targeting them. If people wanted to exclude that, you would actually hit the exclude people first and then do what Andrew just did.
So with the exclusion is different. You can't generally do the multi-exclusion one.
Right.
So it doesn't let you do like this and this, but here it's not as big of a deal.
Yeah, you can just do like...
Yeah, you just like you come and do that. Like if it's my favorite one for an exclusion, it doesn't work everywhere, but whatever body in your province or state that's in charge of
licensing,
like ethics and that side of it. So like in Ontario, the Real Estate Council of Ontario. So if you step out of lines, they're the ones who fine you and can take your license. There's no way anyone but an agent would like a page like that.
Yeah.
But in a lot of areas, those aren't big enough.
It's true.
So like mainly what you're looking for. So we actually go by targeting. We call it the 3 Fs. So the first one is who do they follow? So like your ideal client. So agents, they follow Tom Ferry, they follow Buffini, they follow Gary Keller, people like that. If you're targeting non-agents, you want to think about who they follow. Like, because someone who follows Gary Vee might be very different than someone who follows Kim Kardashian or Tiger Woods. So you're looking at who do they follow? Where do they fund? So are they spending money at like Starbucks or Tim Hortons or Dunkin' Donuts or something like that? And then where do they frequent? So where are they spending their time online? Are they spending their time on ESPN or Vogue or Architectural Digest? So you look at those kind of pieces. And then the other one you want to make sure, which you touched on kind of briefly earlier, of like Tom Ferry starting to get too big, is you only want to target people who are like famous to the family, which means that if you go to that group, everyone in that group would know who they are. But then if you walk down the street regularly and started asking people who knew them, almost no one would. So a great example is actually Tom Ferry. Like if I go into a real estate office and ask people, hey, who here knows who Tom Ferry is? You might get one person who doesn't. If I then walk out onto the street and just start walking on the street asking everyone on the sidewalk who Tom Ferry is, no one's going to have any idea what I'm talking about.
Right.
Which is why, like, if you want to target golfers, Tiger Woods, you can't pick. He's too big. Everybody knows him. There's people who will be interested in him who don't care about golf. But Bubba Watson, on the other hand, you only know if you're into golf or like your spouse is into golf. So you just want to look at it from that perspective. But again, like for the most part, we don't do a lot of targeting. Generally, like the majority of our ads are just exclude agents.
Well, for most agents, when they have the checkbox turned on that it is a housing ad, they can't do this anyways. But if you can, we were just giving you options. That's all.
Yeah. The only thing that's really changed for us with the special category of the housing thing is the 15-mile radius, which some areas it's not ideal. That it's not a huge deal, to be honest. Like it hasn't changed our cost really that much. And then the age thing. But again, like Facebook knows who's likely to buy a home based on past data. And they'll optimize your ad to go to the people most likely to opt in. So it's actually not that big of a deal at all. It's a bit like, yes, there's definitely some issues around it. But it's actually has not been a big deal for us anyway. So we're not too worried about it. It looks like you can still do custom audiences for these. And what's nice about that is when you can use a custom audience, you could say, okay, just go out to this group specifically. So it looks like you can still use custom audiences in a lot of them, but not all.
Right. Okay.
They're still like narrowing down exactly how it works. So expect changes to it as because like people find loopholes and things like that. And they close them up. So this one is the most effective time I've ever seen them close every loophole that has come up. But
yeah, they locked it down, man.
Yeah, they used to, like for a lot of other things, it was actually really easy to get around anything they put. But this one's different because it's actually for a good reason.
Okay, well, the easy answer for most people is that you don't have to complicate things. Just literally target the city, run the ad. Okay.
Yep. I wouldn't worry again. And even for your regular ads, like even if it's not for a listing and you don't have to put special category, don't overthink the targeting and don't do too much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
cool.
Nice and easy.
Yep.
Cool. And then placements, do you want me to go over that at all?
Yeah. Because some people are going to want to target certain things and others don't understand it.
So back to like the same idea as targeting for the most part, don't worry about it.
Just leave it on.
Facebook knows better than you what's going to get results. So for most of the time, you just leave it on automatic placements and let it run. The main time when you want to edit placements is depend on like what type of creative you have. Like if I only have something sized for Instagram story or Facebook story, I'm only going to turn that on. If my budget's really limited, sometimes I'll turn off like everything but Facebook newsfeed just because that gets the best results. I never touch like mobile versus desktop only because I think the latest stat I saw was 96% of users are mobile only on Facebook. So if you go to desktop, you're only targeting 4%, which is still what's 4% of like 2.2 billion. Like you're still targeting quite a bit of people, but you're still leaving out 96%. But yeah, I leave most of them on. The main ones I like to turn off are in-stream video ads because they're annoying. And I don't generally want people's first impression of me to be getting annoyed with me. This one you don't have to worry about because it's almost never on. And then audience network I will also often turn off. Again, back to the idea of a lot of people find it annoying. It's like you're playing Candy Crush and you go to hit the X and it's there. And it can also skew your numbers.
Yeah, it's more of a branding play. It's like an impression play.
Yeah. So like anytime you're retargeting, I always leave them all on. But the problem that like you'll see the click rate and your cost per click can be super low in audience network. But a lot of it is people like me with fat fingers who go to hit the X in the corner of the game and miss. And they end up clicking on your ad and it pops it up.
Because nobody's in the middle of a game and wants to leave to go register for your open house.
They
like
generally don't care.
Yeah. So if you were to turn some off, turn that one off.
Now, what you could do is run the ad as like a reminder for the open house. So anyone who engaged with your page in the like last week, run an ad like this just to remind them the open house is coming. Because people might see it once.
Page, do you mean your Facebook page or your website or both?
Both. Because you can set it up to be like, okay, run this ad to anyone who's engaged with my page. Run this ad to anyone who's been on my website. Or if you have like a post on your page, on your website about the open house, like a blog post, you could target anyone who read that blog post. And then you blast them and you can do it for really cheap. An ad for like the next 3 days leading up to the open house. Be like, reminder, we have the open house. Don't forget to come. So it just keeps showing up in their feed on everything that they go on.
I have an idea for you. What if we did a joint webinar, one for my group, one for your group, and you can say yes or no, but we'll go more detailed on setting up of pixels and the more advanced stuff.
Sure.
Cool.
Happy to.
Nice. Okay.
Sounds good. I'm just kind of going through some of these. Okay, so like, don't worry about this. Only when connected to Wi-Fi. Only do if your ad has like a video that's like 20 minutes or longer. Otherwise, you can just leave that off.
Yep.
You're good there. Everything else here, we honestly don't worry about. So
okay.
we just leave it. And then here, leave these as is, and then you just go into your budget. Again, roughly speaking, for the average ad, we'll do $10 a day per 100,000. Now, when it comes to like an open house, and so the reason that $10 a day per 100,000 works is it doesn't exhaust the audience too fast, so you can let it go a little bit longer, but they still see it enough to get results. Mm-hmm. For a short-term ad like an open house, you're okay with kind of annoying them with the ad because there's a specific end date that's not that far in the future.
Typically a week.
Yeah, so you could throw out, normally what we'll do is like $100 will do great. I mean, $50 you'll still do fine. Lower than that for a week. No, for like the week.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's like a specific end time, right? Like you go lifetime budget, you say, okay, I just want to spend $100 for the week. And then we'll pick it. So like say, okay, we know it's coming this Sunday. We want to end. So the open house is 2 to 4. So we'll end this at 3:10 type of thing, something like that. That's a pretty easy way to do it.
Yep.
So that's what we often do. So like for new content, and an open house would be considered like new short-term content, $50 to $100 for the week. You'll get enough results.
I find it so bizarre. Facebook has this reset your start date. They should be smart enough to not have me just to click this button every time.
Yeah, it's because like sometimes what happens is people take too long to build their ad, and then the start date's in the past.
Right.
But yeah, no, it's a stupid little thing that they should just get rid of. It's like either start it now or at a specific time in the future. Like this is really convenient for like sometimes if I'm doing a presentation somewhere, I'll run the ad for like an hour or two before the presentation to like an hour after. And it's like a very set specific time. Or if I know like a conference is only in for an hour and I know like then they leave for the day and scatter, then I'll run it for like the half an hour after the conference and then start it back up again the next day.
We should do 2 ads at NAR as a little test. We'll do a little case study.
Yeah, no, I did it last time at NAR, and my session was the only one that sold out in my track.
Nice.
That ran ads heavy for it.
Cool.
And it cost me $50. So
oh,
good.
what? Dope.
Yeah, it's cheap. That's what's great about Facebook. Cool. All right. Next up. Again, if anyone has questions, throw them in the chat. I'm always happy to answer anything you guys have. So here we do get questions like, okay, should I do carousel, single image, or video? Carousel we don't do too often. We find we just get better stuff with single image or video. Mm-hmm. From an image to video, you'll actually get a better cost per lead off an image over a video.
Yep.
For reference, we get average about $1 to $5 a lead off a listing for an image, $4 to $8 for a video. What you do want to just keep in mind, though, is like there is the branding value of a good video for other sellers potentially seeing it.
Yep.
So it's a personal decision if you'd rather pay a higher cost per lead, but then have the added brand lift.
I watched an ad yesterday. It was for ClickFunnels. It was a video, and I was jaw dropped. It was one of the most beautiful videos I've ever seen. I don't know. It was about one of the speakers or something. And I'm like, man, I want that video. So video is so powerful, but I didn't click or anything. So they're not going to be able to track and know how impacted I was based on that video, but I was. And
well, they can, because they can run an ad to you based on a percentage of the video watched.
Right. Yeah. So
if you watch the whole video, you're probably going to see a second set of ads.
I hope I do, because I really like that ad.
Just go to ClickFunnels and see every ad they're running and go look through them. So yeah, we normally go single image if our goal is lead gen. If our goal is engagement, branding.
Wait, that totally is going to go over people's head. Can you open up a new tab and, for example, go to maybe like Tom Ferry's page, and then we'll see the ads he's running?
Sure.
Because you can do this for any agent or any brokerage.
It's not my fault.
Yeah.
All right. Tom Ferry. we'll go to the real estate coach one here. Yeah.
Because Andrew just said, well, you can just go to ClickFunnels and see every ad they've run. This is what we're talking about.
It's easiest on your computer, but if you come to any page like this, just scroll down to the part here that says page transparency. This is one of the thank you Russia moments that Facebook added in. You just click on see more, and you'll see down here it says this page is currently running ads. You just click go to ad library, and it pulls up every ad they're currently running and filters it by country. So you can see right now he's running them in Canada, the US, and Australia. You can just click on all, and here's every ad Tom Ferry is currently running. It won't show you past ads. It only shows you what's running today.
Holy, no wonder the guy's more popular than me. Look at this. This is so many ads.
These could all be like under $10 a day budget.
Yeah,
them, right? Like it's, I mean, I know he's not doing it that way, but
so you don't do it because we have mixed brands on here, but you can do it based on your competitors as well. Obviously you could search your other agents locally to see what ads. So if you know there's an agent on your board who's kicking it with social media, go to their business page and and see what ads they're running. Like you won't know which ones are working or not.
Can I just caveat that with one thing?
Yeah.
A lot of people look to the top producers and look at their ads and try and copy them, but they don't actually know if the top producer's getting results from their ads. Like we see it all the time where someone's like, okay, well, this guy who's doing 500 deals a year is doing these ads. Let's just copy that. But I know a lot of those people and they're not getting results in their ads. Like, just make sure if you're going to copy someone else's, you know that they're actually working for them. Some people just throw money at the wall, even at that top level.
Yeah.
So make sure it's someone you know is actually getting results if you're going to try and copy it.
Good tip.
Yeah.
For example, go to Just Sell Homes. Go to their Facebook page. Just kidding.
Yeah, I actually don't know if we're running ads right now.
Cool. Okay. I didn't want that to go over people's heads because you mentioned it casually and I knew what you're talking about, but others didn't.
Cool. So do that. Don't worry about instant experience right now. That's a bit more of an advanced thing. So worry about that later. Then you just come in, you can change your image, or you can actually do custom. Did you know you can build videos on here now? You use video template, and now you can they'll help you build a video.
This is new to me. No, I mean, I remember making slideshow videos with them years ago, but
yeah, you just start you can throw in your words, they'll come on, you see the different things they have, and it's pretty good. So they'll do all this for you.
You know what? I'll do that as a little mini session next time. We'll play with it. I'll play with it and record it for people.
Yeah, it's not like mind-blowing stuff, but better than the majority of what people have, and it's super easy to do. It's not bad. It's worth looking at.
Wow, cool.
But again, you mostly do just straight image. I'm just going to pick a house that I know works.
While you do that, I wonder if you can do that video ad creation before you even get into building the ad. If I can just use the tool to build videos without having
Probably in the Creative Hub. I haven't tried it, but I guess in the Creative Hub you could do it. So we often use this house specifically. I don't know why it's not letting. Oh, there we go. If we're ever doing stock image and we need a stock image, this house outperforms all the other stock image houses that are out there.
Where'd you get it?
It's in Facebook stock image.
Oh, wow. It looks like it's got a watermark on it.
Yeah. So once you actually launch the ad, that watermark disappears. It's just so that right now you don't try and just copy it.
Well, also make sure that style of housing and tree and season works for your area, because that's not going to work in Florida.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe depending on I don't know. Probably not. Yeah. But as a caveat to everything, it has to look like there's someone who ran an ad in my area and I'm in Canada and it had desert and palm trees in the backyard. And you're like, I know that's not here.
Doesn't work. Cool. Okay. So use the photo.
Yep. So nice and easy. And then literally the open house, you just keep it super simple. Just one note about image. Keep it very low on text. Because if you put text on it, it won't work. So just a quick way to check. If you just Google text overlay tool, the first result here, you can upload an image to it. And it will tell you if the image you're going to run here has too much text or not. So again, super, super easy to do. Highly recommend. I just want to make sure I'm not like picking a weird photo that's on my desktop randomly. So it'll upload a photo and it'll tell you if it's okay to run or not. So yeah, so like this one obviously has no text. So it's like, yeah, that will run normally. But if you have too much text on it, or if you have any text, you want to check it. And sometimes it could like if you have a t-shirt with writing on it, it might not realize it's on a t-shirt and might say, hey, you have too much text in that ad. So you just want to double check. And logos count as text. So if you're trying to brand them, that can hurt your ads.
Right.
So we generally keep the images without anything. And the reason I also say like don't add your branding to it is your branding's here with your page. You don't need to add your branding here too. It's almost a little bit of an overkill. And then I would always add for something like this your links over to your website. So again here, like I'd take them to that listing page. So it'd be like justsellhomes.com/listing/123 Main Street, which is not actually a page on my site, but you know what I mean? So we'd put that like that. Headline for an open house. Open house, 123 Main Street, Sunday, 2 to 4 p.m. So just keep it really simple in the headline there. And then up here, just write up something for the ad. And the description, I put something there, but it's not a huge deal.
Some agents and some boards have to put their license number or their title and brokerage and stuff. So you can stuff that at the bottom of the ad in the text part if you need it.
Regulatory info.
Yeah, that'd be like name, phone number, email, brokerage. Well, not email, sorry. Name, phone number, brokerage. Some of you need to have your license number. Some of you have different stuff you have to put. So put that at the bottom.
Yeah, I would just always put it underneath. Like no matter what, once you start typing, you're going to get the see more. So once it's under there, it's not there's only so much you can do there.
Yep.
Yeah, keep it nice and clean like this. The big thing is don't like put this all in. Like see this, a lot of agents do this is they'll do an ad like this and it's like one paragraph. Never do this because it's blocky and doesn't look good and it's harder to read. So when you do it, like separate them by lines, it's easier to skim and read and they're more likely to go through it. So I'd always separate them out like that. Yeah, nice and easy. The only thing you might want to consider with like here would be, Main Street for sale or something like that. Because sometimes if you do like open house with this without mentioning that's for sale, you might get a lot of people asking if it's a lease.
Oh, weird.
But that's why like here, they decided to sell their home.
Yeah.
You want to include that type. I think now I just do it naturally because I've just it's become a habit to always make sure I'm saying sell somewhere.
Yep.
Because otherwise you can get a ton of people, which now if you're okay with lease leads and you want to work a lot of leases, just don't say it. And then you'll get a lot of people reaching out and then you can convert them to a buyer for something else or a tenant for something else.
Yep.
So that's another way. If you just want a bunch of people leasing, it's an easy way to do it. Like we have some teams who have like a leasing agent on their team. So sometimes we don't say it so that they can then just convert them into something else.
We started including a secondary call to action in the description that says for a list of all this week's open houses, click this link, and then we send them to a bit.ly link, which would be a landing page.
Yeah, and that's what you could do here. Just like, hey, use this URL. But yeah, it depends on your goal. Like if this my goal is just to get as many people to see it. But yeah, like I always like to have a call to action in anything like this. The exact one, yeah, whether it's a list of open houses, a list of other homes that might fit your needs, or a guide on how to prepare your home for sale in case you need to sell it to buy this one. That can get you some seller leads sometimes fairly easily. So I always like to add calls to action when I can.
I love how simple Facebook ads are becoming. It used to be so complicated for people. I mean, this still might have seemed complicated for some, but that's because we're talking about all the different possibilities. But really, It's really simple.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Basically just drop a pin on the house, add a couple of lines of text, a nice image, and you're good to go.
Can you go back to the ad set, to the placements, and show them how to drop a pin on the house? Some people...
That's up here in audience. So because this one isn't considered a special category, I could literally go 123 Main Street, and it's going to be like, hey, here's one here. And then you come in and like, so in areas where you can't target this way, you couldn't go down to a 1 mile radius. So you'd have a 15-mile radius, but at least still it's on that pin specifically. Yeah. And if they don't let you do that, because sometimes they don't, you can always just grab here, drop a pin in like that, and then adjust that way.
Yep. Cool. Nice
and easy.
And then for some people, it's literally just going to be you have to type the city.
Yeah. Yeah, they're restricted pretty much a lot when you're doing those housing ads. That's okay. Again, like Facebook knows who's the most likely people to opt in and do all that. So we haven't found it's been a big deal for us.
Cool.
Yep. So then, yeah, I would leave the call to action button out. So learn more is the one that gets the most response usually. But no button is actually the best one because then it gives you more room for the headline, and then it's also not as obviously an ad. Because when you have the button there, it like screams ad as people are scrolling through.
That only works with this style ad, not when you're doing a Facebook lead ad. You have to have a button.
Lead ad, you have to have the button, and in that case, I normally say do the learn more.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you put in like a sign up, you'll get a slightly higher quality lead, arguably, but you'll get less leads. So it kind of depends where you test it for you, but we normally recommend learn more.
Cool.
Yeah, and you just come down, confirm, you're good to go.
Yep, which you're not going to hit because you don't want to run this ad.
I do not.
Sweet. Andrew, thank you so much for taking the time to walk us through and explain step by step and to make us feel better, because a lot of the agents in the States were feeling paralyzed with the lack of options that they were accustomed to and now they can't leverage. And so hopefully this video helps them feel a little easier, because you and your clients, like you say, you're still getting the leads. I think you said it was like $1 to $5.
Yeah, we really haven't had any issues at all. Man, like it's been good. I mean, yeah, like if you're in Manhattan, you're probably going to have a few different issues because a 15-mile radius around Manhattan is ridiculous for an ad. But that's a separate thing altogether.
Right.
But that's such like a small use case for most people. It's not a big deal.
Sweet. Okay. Well, if there's I don't see any questions. Maybe you're so good you were answering the questions as they appeared. But if there are questions, now's the time to be asking. So go ahead and start typing. We're going to hang out for...
I blocked off till 3 in my calendar, so they got 17 minutes to ask any questions if they do have any.
So the idea that I want to do at NAR, by the way, is I'm going to go to each of the vendors and I'm going to do kind of like a share and tell where they share how they're attracting agents into their system. So I'm going to do like a little mastermind group for all the vendors. So we'll do the, anyways, I'll talk to you about it later, but I'm pretty pumped about it.
Yeah. Are you doing any of the like expert session stuff?
I don't even know what that means. Yeah, what's that mean?
Are you in the group for the speakers?
There's a Facebook group for the NAR speakers?
Yeah.
No.
Pay attention to your email, man.
Okay, so what's going on with it?
So they put out a call to act if anyone wanted to do like an Ask the Expert series. So I picked up 2 extra like events while I'm there.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, send me the link. I'll join it.
Cool. I'll just go invite you to it. But yeah.
All right. I don't see anybody asking questions. So Shia, we can stop the recording here. Everybody, we're going to post this on Monday evening, and then I'll do a mass blast letting everybody know the next date, time, and topic. And Andrew, can you pull up your Just Sell Homes page again, just so that we can leave off on it? Okay, everyone, if you need help with setting up your Facebook ads, definitely Andrew is the guy to talk to, obviously. And the website is justsellhomes.com. So you can go there. If you fill in the contact form, you'll definitely have somebody actually follow up. There's a chat with us feature on the bottom right if you just want to casually talk to them and ask questions. Or I'm pretty sure they can book a call as well. I'm not sure where that would be.
So you can go to, under the packages page, there's a bunch of book a call links. You can just click on the chat with us tab, contact page. Or if you go to bookandrew.ca, you can book it directly with me.
Cool. And even though it's bookandrew.ca, you work in both Canada and the US, so people know.
Yes, we have quite a few clients. Obviously we're a little bit Canada heavy because that's where I started, but now we have clients both sides.
Hey, if you want to close more real estate transactions, get more buyer leads, and get more seller leads, click this button right here. It'll take you to our real estate group coaching page. Also, if you like this video and want more, you can subscribe by pressing this, or you can check out some of my past videos here. Enjoy!